Idolatry is not just worshiping a statue, but putting anything in your life above God. Exodus 23:5, "You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God." This is the very first commandment, highlighting the gravity of placing anything before God. It's not just about physical idols, but about anything that captures our hearts more than God. The concept of idolatry goes far beyond worshiping a physical statue. It's a deeply spiritual matter that speaks to the heart's true desires and allegiances. Material possessions. When we crave wealth, status, or possessions, more than we seek God's presence, they become idols. They consume our thoughts and actions, driving us to compromise our values and relationships. Power and control. When we seek power and control over others, or hold on to positions of authority that become more important than serving God, we are engaging in idolatry. We are elevating ourselves above God's will. The heart of idolatry. Idolatry is not just about outward actions. It's about the inward desire of our hearts. It's about making something else the center of our lives instead of God. It's about seeking security, satisfaction, or purpose from things that can never truly fulfill us. Relationships. When we idolize a person, placing them on a pedestal and seeking fulfillment from them instead of God, we are setting ourselves up for disappointment and heartache. Self. When we prioritize our own desires, comfort, or security above God's will, our self-importance becomes an idol. Matthew 6:20, "For no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." Here, Jesus speaks directly to the idolatry of wealth, a common trap that can distract us from our devotion to God. Examples of idolatry in everyday life. Materialism. When we become consumed by acquiring possessions, status symbols, and material wealth, it can take the place of God in our hearts. Careerism. When our careers become our ultimate pursuit, driving us to neglect family, relationships, and spiritual growth, they become idols. Popularity. When we seek validation and acceptance from others above God's approval, it becomes a form of idolatry. Self-sufficiency. When we rely on our own strength and abilities, neglecting to seek God's guidance and help, we are essentially making ourselves our own gods. Idolatry leads to spiritual emptiness, broken relationships, and ultimately, a separation from God. It's a path that leads to despair and destruction. The Bible warns against this, urging us to seek God above all else. It calls us to examine our hearts and surrender our desires to Him. Only then can we find true freedom, peace, and fulfillment. Remember, the heart is deceitful above all things. Examine your own life, your desires, and your priorities. Are you truly putting God first in all things? May this guidance illuminate your path, and may your heart be filled with the love and truth of the divine.